Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and Warhammer community on their Twitter messed up. They tweeted 6 images of Datacards, and then they deleted their 2 tweets, and now it's too late. We're going to talk about them. So, yep, it's exactly what I just said. We have 6 images of these. We've got Reivers, Rubric Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Hardened Veteran, Kommando Grot, Neophyte Hybrid. Now let's talk about what exactly these could mean. I assume there's going to be another article today, so expect a second video. Right now, we're just going to quickly go over these. But if you're subscribed to my channel, I'd like to give you a big double hello. Wow, what a wholesome noise. Wouldn't you love some wholesomeness in your life? Subscribe now, as it is subscriber only, and that could be yours in the next video. Okay, this is really interesting. I think we can all agree that for most of us, if you're watching my channel, we've kind of figured out the basic, like the very basics of the game. We could all probably sit down and throw some dice, and we'd get, you know, we'd have like half the rules. We could play the basics. The only thing we need to know are obviously the fineries of the rules, not the wolves, the rules. Although, saying of the wolves there, the article today is meant to be terrain, so haha. But what we don't know is all of the stats. We don't know the numbers. So, Warhammer community Twitter accidentally tweeting these, that was their bad. Now, these, of course, were public domain for about 5 seconds. So, that means they're public domain forever. You can't just... Deleting a tweet doesn't delete a tweet, let's be honest. So, first up, let's look at the humble Reiver. I am hugely in the way. I see that, but there's actually nothing written in his abilities bit. So, first things first, his faction, which is behind me, you can't see it, but his faction is Space Marine. Now, I do want to just quickly point that out, because it's not Adeptus Astartes. It's Space Marine. And if we look at their faction webpage, if you recall, there are a few oddities, like the Sisters of Battle aren't called Sisters of Battle, they're called Ecclesiarchy. Kroot aren't called Kroot, they're called Hunter Cadres, etc. I assume this is all going to have a little bit more relevance once we have the core book and the compendium and like expansions in our hands. But for now, they're not Adeptus Astartes, they're Space Marine. Cool. He is then, not as a faction keyword, but as an additional keyword, he's Adeptus Astartes, but that's not his faction. We already know, chapter, he will be able to be a sub-faction of some sort. I don't know if there's a huge amount to say about him apart from that. We see, I think, what we expect at this point. Defense 3, that's what, yeah, okay. Save is 3 up. Again, it does seem like they are bringing over the save, so the number, the dice face, from 40k. So expect Marines to be 3 ups, expect Guard to be 5s, expect, you know, Custodians to be 2s, expect Dire Avengers to be, you know, whatever, etc, etc. And again, movement 3. Now, we see that he's 3 on the APL. Again, we've already been told that was going to happen. I suppose the only interesting thing here is wounds of 12, which, if we now just drag in a few little different bits of, like, information we've figured out, wounds, it seems that if you want to roughly transfer things, so let's say you wanted to bring over a model that's not going to be in Kill Team over from 40k, it seems that one wound in 40k is 6 wounds in over here in Kill Team, because normally Reivers are 2 wounds, and now they've got 12. Custodians are 3 wounds, now they have 18. Now, obviously, when you then go a little bit lower, the Guardsmen, instead of being 6 wounds for 1 wound, they're actually 7 wounds. I assume that's to do with numbers and stuff. I don't know. There's not really anything particularly special to say about the rest of his profile. We see a bolt carbine, a special issue bolt pistol, combat knife, fist. And they're all on the datasheet. Now, whether that means they're all on the datasheet, but you've had to, I suspect what you've had to do here is say either you get a bolt carbine and fists, or you get the special issue bolt pistol and combat knife. And we do see the combat knife there is just an extra dice on the melee. Although I would say that just from what we're seeing, going up to 5 attack dice is probably, I suspect, actually really strong. I think we're not going to get a huge amount of range in the number of attacks we're doing. 3 is bad, 4 is normal, 5 is good. I think that's the way we need to view it. And then there's not much else to say about his gun. Oh, sorry, that's not true. Apart from the special issue bolt pistol. You see we have range. Yeah, we expect that because it's a pistol. AP1. We don't fully know what AP means here. Now, we know what APL means, action point limit, and we know that they do refer to action points as being AP. You have to remember, this is no longer 40k. We see AP on a weapon, we assume armor piercing. But I actually think that they haven't, you know, I mentioned this in one of my early videos that we saw AP on a weapon, and isn't it weird that we have AP on a weapon and AP meaning something completely different elsewhere on our stat line? I think that AP, even when it's on a weapon, means it will cost you 1 action point to use this weapon. Pure guess, but that's what I think. I have nothing backing that up, but anyway, let's move on. We then get the Rubric Marine. Now, of course, Rubric Marine, just, so we see the stat line there. It's exactly the same, except there's 1 less APL. But okay, that's fine. We knew that was going to be the case. They'd already said that whilst most Marines will get the 3 APL, Rubrics don't get that. Cool. Inferno Bolt Gun. Now, again, this is a little bit odd. So, an Inferno Bolt Gun in 40k is just a much better bolt gun, okay? It has AP -2 instead of either no AP or AP1. But if we look here, Inferno Bolt Gun is 4, 3 up, 3, 4, compared to 4, 3 up, 3, 4. The only difference is AP1. Why would it possibly cost an AP action point to fire this weapon? It just throws me through a loop. I don't understand. Why would they use AP to mean 2 different things? I understand that one is on a stat line and one is on a gun line, but like, confusing. Anyway, but then they do have abilities. So they're behind my head. I apologize. I'll read them to you, don't worry. Favored by change, 5 up invuln save. We already know what invuln save does, which logically means there has to be AP, right? Yeah, okay. There has to be AP, because otherwise you wouldn't need a 5 up invuln save. Boom. Big brain time. AP1 in a weapon does mean armor piercing. Wow, that was big. And then they have All is Dust. Each time a shooting attack is made against this operative, if the ranged weapon has a normal damage characteristic of 3 or less, this operative is treated as having a save characteristic of 2+ for that shooting attack. Now that's interesting. It has a normal damage characteristic of 3 or less. So if we look at our own weapons here, the damage characteristic of 3, 4, 3, 4. So this means, presumably, that a crit will get through you. So like on these normal weapons, the bolt guns, the las guns, which are all damage 3 and then a higher crit, this means that you're always going to be getting that 2-up save. But if we look at another weapon, nope, those are all 3, 4s. Okay, so if we look at the melter gun or the plasma here, that would, just like in 40k, you'd be pushed back to your regular save at that point. So okay, cool. There's not much else to say about him. Note, Rubric Marines are typically very slow. He's still movement 3 circle. Cool. 12 wounds, everything else the same. Now we go to this Chaos Space Marine Gunner. Oh, that's the other thing to note, sorry. Both of these are warriors. So these are, we can assume from what we already know, these are the basic guys. Okay, these are, hey, I want to take a fire team of Rubric Marines. Okay, you fill it out with warriors, and then maybe you are allowed to take 1, possibly if you're lucky, 2 gunner models or leader models. But the standard is a warrior model. Okay, now we go to the Chaos Space Marine. This is a gunner. The options we have here are Flamer, Melter Gun, Plasma Gun. So, just off the top of my head, because I'm currently putting together some Chaos, this implies that a gunner, these are the special weapons. So in 40k, these are the special weapons, but there are additional heavy weapons that can be taken. So that would be the autocannon, the Reaper chain cannon, the missile launcher, and the heavy bolter. Presumably, that means that when you decide to take a fire team of Chaos Space Marines, again, this is all speculation, you would be able to take 1 special gunner who would have this profile here, and then one heavy gunner who would be able to take the weapons I just mentioned, and then however many other regular warrior models who would just get a standard bolt gun. I would guess it would be 1 or 2 additional Marines. I can't see them being allowed more than 4 Marines, considering you only get 4 Dire Avengers in a fire team, but who knows. Cool, so Flamer, we've seen a Flamer before. Note that the crit damage on them, although you're really consistent with the hit and your 5 attacks, and you're really consistent with your hits, you don't crit, so it's pretty good. We know what range means now. We still don't 100% know what torrent means, so it's fine. Melter gun, now this is obviously a bit of a beast. So 6 damage normal, but the crit is 3 damage. That might sound odd, but note that when you crit, you're also doing 4 mortal wounds. So how do I pass this? So although your crit damage is actually lower, it's 3 plus 4, and the way we understand it is the mortal wounds automatically go through. You cannot block the mortal wounds. If you roll that 6, they take the mortal wound damage. And from the implication here, if they then on their defense roll a crit, they can block your crit damage still, those 3, but the mortal wounds always go through. So even with the melter gun against, let's say, a custode, if they fail their invuln save, they're still taking 4 mortal wounds, even though they would save the other 3. And of course, if they fail just a regular wound, that's still 6 damage. So big. And then the AP2, we're now thinking, as I've run it through with you live, that is going to be AP -2, it seems. And then plasma gun, 5/6, AP1, AP2 hot. Presumably hot is some form of damage to yourself. I would guess, and I have no reason to think this, but the hot would just be if you roll a 1, then you do normal damage to yourself. It might be you crit damage, it might be you auto-kill yourself. I really don't think it will be an auto-kill of yourself, that would be way too much. But a 1 might be you deal standard damage to yourself. Do note, fists, he can use fists. All fists seem to be the same, I think. If I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly, the Dire Avenger, it was also 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, and I think he was 3/4. Because I remember he was better than a bayonet with his fists. So I think fists are just standard, which is odd. So that's the Chaos Space Marine Gunner. Is there anything else? APL3, he's the same as a Reiver. So it does seem that Chaos Marines and Space Marines are the same. Hardened Veterans, I feel like we've possibly have seen this datasheet before, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Just note, hardened by war. This is a cool thing, and there's an implication that this will be perhaps a specialism that everybody will be able to take. It gives you a feel no pain. 5 up, you don't take the damage. Pretty cool. We go over to Kommando Grot. Now this is new. This is actually our first proper Orc datasheet we've seen, and it's not a normal one. It's this weird guy. Oh, sorry, let me just quickly go back here. APL2, 7 wounds, 5 up. Yeah, okay. There's nothing weird about that. So, only 5 wounds. This is, as you'd expect, it's a Grot. You wouldn't expect him to be particularly good. Even his Grot Chopper, only 3 attacks, which, as we've just discovered in our heads mentally, isn't really very good. It means anybody can quite successfully block you. With a BS WS of 5, so he's really not there for killing things. I think that's clear. Damage 1/4. I mean, if you're not getting the crits, what's the point? 5 wounds, 5 up save. I suppose interesting thing there is typically Orcs have a 6 up save in 40k. You know, the t-shirt save, but here it's 5s. Who knows? APL 2, yeah, that's normal. Defense 3, movement 3 circle. Okay. And then he's got abilities. What have we got? So Sneaky Zogger. This operative cannot have an engage order. Now, we don't fully know what that means. I'll come back to it in a moment. In addition, this operative is always treated as having a conceal order, regardless of any other rules, e.g. vantage point. So this is them throwing a few terms at us that we don't yet, that they haven't explained to us yet. I'll come back to it in a moment. Unique actions. grappling hook 1 AP. So that's 1 action point. And you'll see this is where it's odd, right? So hold on, let's have a quick look at the formatting. So presumably if something says number AP, then that is the number of action points it costs. But if you have AP number, then that is the armor penetration that it deals, or the number that your armor is lowered by. Select a grappling hook 1 AP. Select a point on a terrain feature that is visible to this operative. Treat that point as an intended target. Oh, is that some sort of like... Anyway, I'll keep reading. Perform a free normal move action with this operative, moving in a single straight line with an unlimited movement as though it can fly. It must finish that move within triangle of that point. Okay. Alright. Interesting. Interesting. I think there's a lot there. So first off, treat that point as an intended target. Is that an actual definition? And then you have to finish it within triangle of the intended target. Interesting. Because you're just looking at terrain. Why don't you just finish on that point? Don't know. And then engage order, conceal order, vantage point. Oh man. I'm not, you know what? I don't even know. There you go. I don't even know. We have done a little bit of squinting, and I think we kind of know what engage and conceal orders mean. We haven't seen vantage point at all. Presumably that's something to do with height. So I'm not even going to attempt to tell you what engage and conceal order, because I don't really know. I'd have to go read over our squinting document. But yeah. So Kommando Grot, cool. Cool model, we can also say. They've all been cool models. What am I talking about? And here we get the Neophyte Hybrid Gunner. Okay, so what are we getting here? Movement 3 circle, APL 2, GA 1, defense 3, save 5 up, wound 7. Identical to the hardened veterans of the Krieg there. Do note as well, he's behind me, you can't see, sorry. So his special ability, his faction name is Brood Coven. Interesting. So again, not Gene Stealer cults. We still don't know why they've decided to do that. And then do note, can I move? Can I move? Okay, so here we go. Brood Coven, Gene Stealer cults. Why have they done this? No idea. Let me tell you why I think. As we've seen, we have normal orcs and we have commandos. I suspect that what they're doing, this is pure speculation, they are deliberately not calling them this is the same as 40k, because they want to leave themselves room to give every single faction their own kill team box. But then they don't want to end up with one faction being like the official tie to 40k name, and then the other one being, oh, this is the weird offshoot one. So we're going to get, so Adeptus Astartes, both factions are going to be Adeptus Astartes, but one's called Space Marine and one is called whatever, Phobos Strike Force or something, right? Okay, is there anything else? Let's look at his weapons. Do they matter? Interestingly, he has the gun butt instead of bayonet. 3 attacks, 4 ups, 2, 3. So it's the same as a bayonet. It's not as good as fists. But yeah. We see a Weber, which is really interesting. I'll talk about that in a moment. We see a Flamer. We've talked about that before. We see a grenade launcher. Now this is interesting actually, because grenade launchers used to suck. Certainly among Imperial Guard, when you had access to flamers or you had access to plasma gun, you just never took a grenade launcher. Why would you? So we have a frag and crack grenade being shown here. 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. Yep. The frag is then 2-4 blast circle, whereas the crack is 4-5 AP1. So pure guess, blast circle, I would assume means that anything within circle, that's 2 inches, of your intended target. Intended target also, just thinking, goes back to that Kommando Grot there, who you declared intended target and then something happened. Well, presumably you declare intended target, blast, everything within 2 goes poof. Very descriptive, Andy, thanks. Yeah, presumably that's similar to what Torrent is, where we assume that anything within circle gets the full... But then wouldn't torrent and blast be the same? Clearly, we need to find out what both torrent and blast mean. Okay. Then crack seems to be 4/5, AP1. Cool. As you can tell, I'm figuring all of this out live with you, so sorry. We then get to the Weber. Now, 4, it hits a little bit better, but it, like a flamer, doesn't deal crit damage, and it's very low damage, so 2/2. Range, same as a flamer, same as a pistol, it's only 6 inches. Pentagon. Lethal 5-up. This means you're critting on a 5-up, not a 6, but the crit doesn't matter because you're not doing any damage. But what does the crit do? It stuns. What does a stun do? We don't know. My guess would be that stun, like for every successful stun, you lose 1 action point on your next activation. Or perhaps it means you may not activate this model the next turn. Who knows? Either way, we don't know yet. Anyway, cool. That's the end of our little look through the accidentally leaked by Warhammer community data cards. Again, all really interesting, and like all of this stuff is going to turn up in the compendium. I'm really excited to see more about this, but at the same time, we're missing these little key pieces that actually tell us everything we need to know. I think the biggest thing we're missing, if I'm being entirely honest with you, is we aren't yet seeing how many models come in each fire team. So until we see, for example, with the Reiver here, until we see how many Reivers are actually in that fire team, are we playing 2 of these or are we playing 10 of these? Neither. Those are silly numbers. We know that. But is it 5? Is it a single box of Reivers? Oh, actually, you buy Reivers in 10s, don't you? So it could be 6, could be 7. No idea. And until we have numbers in fire teams, we don't really know what this means, to be entirely honest with you. Anyway, this has been Glass Update. I hope you've had a good day. No, hold on. Sorry, that's not quite right, is it? Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow, such wholesomeness. I'm really excited. Expect there to be a second video coming out today because they said they were going to talk to us about terrain. Let's do it. Terrain me, boys. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. What do you think about all of these data cards? You hyped? You sad? Are you not liking the range of numbers you're seeing? Or have you just seen your faction listed here and you're like, oh yeah, I'm all about that Weber. I'm going to have a whole team of nothing but melters. We can't do that anymore. We've talked about that. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. I hope you've had a good day and continue to have a good day. Goodbye.